Hi, this is Dwight Mahalitz. I'm here today to give you some examples in part 4 of the accountability series. I had some feedback that the short vidcast is great, but that people would like a bit more examples about what I was talking about. So I'm actually making 3 examples. This one is an example of the effective point of accountability in a mid to large size company. So I'd like to just bring up this one slide here for you, where we can talk about a mid to large size company. It would typically have a board of directors or some kind of an ownership structure. It would have a CEO, it would have a vice president, and a director for the examples that I'm going to be giving you today. So the example I'm going to use is sales. So if we think about the board of directors would be holding the CEO of the organization accountable for the overall performance of the organization. So that would be including sales, it would be including production, it would be including deliveries, delivery of the products and services and so on. So basically the bottom line of the company is the effective point of accountability of the CEO, and the board would hold the CEO accountable for doing that. Now, the CEO isn't able to do all of that, so in this example, which is sales, we might say that the CEO would hire a vice president of sales. This vice president of sales becomes the effective point of accountability for sales. So all of the sales activities in the organization and delivering the orders that are required for success. Just because the VP is now the effective point of accountability does not detract from the CEO being the effective point of accountability to the board for the overall performance of the organization. But the vice president would be the effective point of accountability for sales, who would be accountable for to the CEO for doing that. If we move that to the next level down the organization, we might think about a director of sales. So the vice president of sales, as part of his or her accountability, would think about, well, how do I best organize my sales force in the organization? So they might go by product line, they might go by customer type, they might go by geography. So let's assume they go by geography. The vice president might say, I'm going to have 4 regions in our area, and I'm going to have a director of sales for each one of those regions. So the director of sales is going to be the effective point of accountability for sales in that region. We'll set targets, we'll ensure that they do all of the necessary work to meet those targets, and then report upwards to me on a regular basis. So the vice president of sales delegates the effective point of accountability for sales in that region to that director of regional sales. The vice president does not lose their accountability for overall sales. They're still the effective point of accountability for that, because their accountability for the entire territory of the company, for integrating the sales across those, for special events, and so on. So as we see then, the effective point of accountability can be delegated down, but as it moves down the organization, it gets smaller and less complex, because it's aligned with the complexity of work of that individual in that layer in the organization. So that's the effective point of accountability. The key is to find that single point of accountability as low in the organization as possible, for the person, to the person that has the capability of doing that work. So, for example, if the vice president of sales maintained accountability for each one of the regional targets, that work would be done too high. If the VP of sales would delegate a large national event which went across all of the regions, that might be pushing the effective point of accountability too low. So the trick in the effective point of accountability is to ensure and find those single points of accountability as close to the action as possible to ensure success. So that's that example. If you have any questions, do feel free to be in touch with me. I'd love to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.